Welcome back. This is a continuation of my Oracle deck collection. So this next deck is a God and Goddesses mantras, blessings, and meditation card deck. And these are an Oracle deck pertaining to Hindu gods and goddesses. And on each card, what you get is, let's take that out. That's like an ordering thing, and then so just like a little bit of info on. Okay, so on each deck, the front of the card is the picture of the god or goddess. And we are not focusing. Let's try against the black. It's not focused. There you go. There's the name, and it tells you what they are the god and goddess of. So this is Varuna, and I could be pronouncing some of these wrong because some of these gods and goddesses I am not familiar with, while I am familiar with others. But he is the Lord of the seas. And on the back of each card, what you get is a mantra pertaining to that deity, a meditation, and a blessing. So the mantra, it's harder to pronounce because it's not in English, but and you can always look up their mantras online too. There tend to be several mantras pertaining to different deities in the Hindu faith, as well as Buddhist deities. You can find mantras of them as well. And they also have a lot of videos on YouTube of their mantras. And then you have a meditation, and as I said, you have a blessing at the bottom. So that's on every card. So here's just a few of the cards. And some of these may be deities that you're familiar with. It'll be very interesting if you're interested in Hindu deities to look them up. A lot of them have relationships with each other. Like you have Krishna here. Speaking of, Krishna is one of the many incarnations of Vishnu, the god Vishnu. And with every incarnation of Krishna, there is also an incarnation of his mate. So like for Krishna, his mate is Radha. For Vishnu, I believe Vishnu's mate is Lakshmi. So there are different incarnations of Lakshmi as well. So those are, a lot of their mythology is really interesting. And I would definitely encourage others to look them up, especially if you have an interest, even if it's an interested in one or two deities in the Hindu faith. Their connections are very, very interesting. So here's one of the incarnations of Shiva, Lord Shiva, who is the god of destruction, and much like the goddess Kali, he is a bit misunderstood. But Vishnu is a very important deity in the Hindu faith. So again, I love this deck. I really have not worked with it as much as I would like to. But if you are interested in Hindu deities, this is a very good deck to get. I would highly suggest. Okay, so I'm going to try to continue. I'm losing light here. I had some interruptions, and so it's starting to get a little darker. So I'm sorry if it might be a little more difficult to see some of these. But continuing on with the next deck that I have, which is also Hindu inspired, is the Oracle of Rama, a divination deck. And it says India's ancient oracle deck, a set of 56 cards and a booklet. And this is a very interesting deck. I have never had an oracle deck like this before, set up how this one is. And I'm going to explain what I mean by that. First of all, there is a booklet. It's a good size booklet. And this deck, I don't know how you could do intuitive readings per se, where, you know, you would need the booklet with this set. But first of all, it comes with an instructions card. So it tells you quickly what you need to do. What is different about this deck is you get 7 Divine Guide cards. So you get 7 Divine Guide cards. And then you have the remainder of the cards is the remainder of your Oracle deck. And so on the instructions, it tells you, first you would pick a card from here. And then you would, well, first obviously you would shuffle and everything like that. Well, okay, let's back. First, it says that you, after meditating on your question, ask for Rama, the guardian of Oracle, to guide you in receiving an answer. Okay, so your next step would be to shuffle this, and then you would pull a card from there. And this card is going to, it's going to give you a keyword. So like consult again, or limitations of destiny, or with some other role models. So you'll get keywords or phrases like that. It also says, well, you'll place the card face down when you select it. Before selecting your card, you place the deck face down and you select your card. And then this card will give you a keyword or phrase and general indication of your answer. It also gives the Oracle booklet chapter number and section number in which your specific verse or answer lies. So here, you see the chapter number, which is the signs, omens, and warnings. Is the chapter you'll be going to is chapter 7, and then section 7. And then so you'll go through the book to that, and then that's what you'll consult for your answer. So here you see it'll be chapter 6, which is the great reign of Rama, and you'll be going to section 3. So then it says, as you did above, select a card now from the 7 card pile. The number of this card will range from 1 to 7 and identifies the specific verse in the Oracle booklet that answers your question. So let's say I pick up this one, Lakshmana, and it's the power of accomplishment, and it's number 6. So that's where I will go to find that answer. Now it says, look at the first card you selected. Read the summary of verses that correspond with the number. So let's say, like I said, I picked 6, and from here I picked this card. So I would then go, because you have verses down here. Focus, there you go. So I would read this one. Soon a messenger will arrive with good news. So that would be the number that corresponds, the verse that corresponds with this card here that I have selected. And then that would be my short answer to the question that I have. To get a more complete answer, read the verse and commentary in the Oracle booklet under the chapter, section, and verse identified by the 2 cards. So together, you would have your complete answer with these 2 cards. And then after that, you would then meditate on the verse and commentary until you understand what guidance the Oracle is offering you. So this is a very interesting deck, and I actually want to start working with this one soon. Right now, I'm still using the Wisdom of the Golden Paths Oracle deck, which I absolutely love. But once I'm done with that, I think I might move on to this one. I'm not 100% sure yet. I'll see. But moving on to the next Oracle deck that I have. Now, I be honest, I did not buy this deck to work with. I bought it because I liked the artwork of it. This is the Oracle of the Grail Code. And then it says, insights, wisdom, and guidance from the Grail. So this is a very sturdy box. It flips open. And, of course, you have your book, which is a hardcover book, which I like. Usually they're not hardcover, but this is a hardcover guidebook. So, you have your information on the cards and everything in here, and whatever other information about the deck that you'll need. And then you have your cards. So, yeah, so I really bought this because of the artwork. I think the art is mainly Leonardo da Vinci, and I could be mistaken, I don't know, but I really love the artwork. And then you have your guided word at the bottom. No, I don't think so. Because this is Botticelli, I know. Or Botticelli. I could be pronouncing it wrong. But this is his Venus portrait. So, not portrait, but, it's different artists, definitely. But I just absolutely love this artwork. And I do think you can use this deck intuitively. And I might actually give it a try. But like I said, and a lot of these figures are religious in nature, as well, because of the time in which a lot of these artists did their work. It's a very religious time. A lot of the affluent families were funding a lot of these artists to do artwork for them. One benefactor family is the Medici family, and they were patrons for a good many of artists. They did a lot of work, patronage for the church. The Medici family is a very famous family. And I don't want to say it's Renaissance time, but it could be around that time. So, and I believe these are Waterhouse. This one obviously is Leonardo da Vinci. I believe this is a Waterhouse work. And I could be pronouncing his last name wrong. Is it John Waterhouse? I'm not sure. This actually reminds me of the Unicorn Tapestry. If it would focus a little bit better, but that's what that reminds me of. But here you go. Here's one such religious, and I just love them. I love them. One of my favorite artists too is Raphael, and he has a lot. There's one in which he drew the Virgin Mary and baby Jesus. More like he was kind of like at play in a field, so to speak. But yeah, so like I said, some of these are very religious. Oh, this is another one I just love this one. This one is called The Accolade. And for the longest time, and this is back in the 90s, late 90s, maybe, when I had set up my theme on my computer, this was one of the themes that we had. And so the tones were medieval tones, for when like the music when your computer started and upon startup, and little tones like say back then I was using AOL, so notifications and things like that. But this was the background picture for it, The Accolade, and I just loved it. So, but yes, so this is another Oracle deck which I have not used, but in looking on it now, like I had these in a box, so in a bin. So a lot of these I didn't really come across too often. This next deck, or rather these next two decks, are they're a set, but they don't come as a set. You would have to purchase them separately, but they can be used together to combine as one deck. And as you can see, they both have the same backs, so you can effortlessly combine these decks. They were meant to go together. So the first deck is the Hidden Path deck, which is actually the newest out of the two that I had just gotten. And it comes in a very flimsy box. You know, like this could fall apart at any minute. But it's by Raven Grimassi and Stephanie Taylor. And this is the book that comes with it. So it's not a bad sized book. So, and these are the cards. Let's see. So we'll just go through a couple of the cards. So you have here 3 Great Realms, 3 Great Mysteries, Art of Magic, Elder Staff. Oops, see. You also have cards that are the Sabbats. So it represents the equinoxes and the solstices. So here you have Beltane, Tree in Summer, Litha, Summer Solstice, Lunasa, Great Rite, Oak King, and of course you'll have then the Holly King. Drawing Down the Moon. So that's just a few of the cards that come in this deck here. And then this next deck is the Well-Worn Path. I'm gonna just move this one over so as not to mix the two. And then there's a baby. So this is the Well-Worn Path. So here's the book that comes with it. Same size as Hidden Realm. And both come in a little gauze organza bag. Not gauze. Black organza bag. So again, the backs are the same. And the cardstock is not very substantial. So let's go through a couple of cards. Here we have... Focus. Okay, don't focus. Oh, it did. Okay, there we go. Harvest. Summerland. Cauldron. Bless you, baby. Oh, bless you. I have not worked with any of these decks. I will tell you that. Fire. The old ones. And to be quite honest, I don't know when I would get around to working with this deck. These decks. Chalice. There are actually a few other decks that are calling to me to work with before these. Athame. Yeah. The Crescent Crowned Goddess. Do a couple of more here. Voice of the Wind. Let's see. The Stag-Horned God. And Green Man. So, you have those two. And as I said, they were meant to be combined, to work together in combination. Now, this next deck is my newest acquisition. There we go. Oh, now we want to zoom. So I have not used this. I've only just flipped through it, but it is the the Psychic Tarot Oracle deck by John Holland. And here's the book that comes with it. It's a small book, but it's pretty thick. So, and it also has spreads like the other books. And here's what the back looks like. Now, of course, this is your typical Oracle card stock. So here are some of the cards. And I like this deck mainly because it has chakra cards. Okay. Let's skip through. And they're also the color border colors are for different I can't think of the word. I'm going to say sections, but this is obstacles and challenges, suffering and silence, trapped in fear, moving on, heartache and loss, fulfillment of wishes, emotional withdrawal, disconnect and boredom, spiritual union, love begins. What I'm going to say about this deck that I did not like is that the cards came stuck together. And this is actually the second deck that I purchased. The first one, the entire deck was stuck together. And it was almost damaging to pull the cards apart. So I had ordered it from Amazon.com, so I was able to get another one, a replacement. And the thing is that these cards came stuck together too. So trying to work them separate, and I don't know if other people have had this problem, but you see here, I'm sorry, it took away some of the coloring. And it's the same thing on the back because, you know, the bottom is stuck to the top. So, and I really don't like that at all. And if I didn't think it would happen again, I would have sent this deck back too. But I really wanted this deck. I've been seeing this deck for quite some time. And each time I'm like, you know, I really want this. Look at that. You know, maybe there's a better way to get them apart that I am not aware of. And maybe I just manhandled mine, although I didn't think I was. So I don't know. But I really wanted this deck. Initially, when I ordered it, I had ordered it along with the Osho Zen Tarot deck. But like I said, that entire deck, literally, you take it out the box, the entire deck was stuck together. The entire thing. And you know, I was curious as to why. Like, maybe was it the gold leafing? But I have several tarot decks, oracle decks that have gold leafing on it, you know? And I love gold leafing. And I've never had that problem before. I've only encountered that issue with this deck. Oh, it's the babies. Here's your ball. You know, I've never encountered this with any other deck. And so I don't know what the issue is, but I'm not happy about that at all. Anyways, this next deck is the Mythic Oracle deck. And you can see who it's by, because I don't want to butcher the name. It comes with the book. Good size book, like most of them. Let's see. I don't think it has any spreads. Oh, yes, it does. It does contain some spreads. So here's the deck. Here's the back. here's the back, which looks like a griffin to me. And then let's flip through the cards here. So these cards are all of Greek mythology. So you have the Greek gods and goddesses, and if I'm not mistaken, there were some heroes in here too. Yeah, like Helen of Troy, who, you know what? I've read the Iliad and I've seen the movie Troy, but I read the Iliad years ago, years before that even came out. And every time, I just do not care for the character of Helen or Paris at all. So you have their names and what their card stands for. So, whoa, baby. She has been growling like my older daughter, who, when she was this age and started, making sounds, I kid you not, and I don't know if anyone is familiar with the game World of Warcraft, but there are these little sea thingies, sea creatures, you only find them by the seashore, called murlocs. And that's what she sounded like. So here now, I have her who sounds like, my stepson says she sounds like a zombie from The Walking Dead. But, yeah, no. So, but yes, so here are the cards. And of course, like most Oracle decks, either you are able to find your card in the guidebook via the number, like the number on top, or the name on the card. So, but yes, so this is the Mythic Oracle. This is not the first edition that came out. This was I want to say it was the reprint of this deck. So, now again, I have these two decks, which could be seen as a set, but they're not a set, and so obviously you would buy it separately. You would have to purchase them separately. But first we'll do this one. This is the Gods and Titans. And there's the author. So there is an Australian version to this deck too, I think. I don't know if it's different, but initially it came out in Australia. And I was not paying the Australian price. So I was just desperately waiting and hoping that, for it to come out in the US. And it did. So here's the guidebook. We'll flip through of the guidebook. And this deck contains different gods from around the world. And some are not gods, So you have again here the name and then what the card signifies. Baby. So, sorry about that. And I have to say, though, I think some of these cards look a little on the creepy side, like Thoth. This is absolutely not how I would picture Thoth to be. It seems to be that these decks represent the fair side of these different entities. Like Ra, same thing. Maybe Shiva. Shiva, I could see like that. But not, I don't even picture Set like that. But not Ra, not how they depict Thoth. Some I think are great depictions. I think that's what, that ferocity I would attach to those characters. to those deities and to the, I'm going to say heroes for all intents and purposes, or the Titans, I guess. Like this one, like Dionysus. He is the Greek god of excess, of wine and ecstasy, and here you even have ecstasy here. He induces ecstasy in women and into his followers. So this is to me is a great depiction of Dionysus, who his Roman counterpart would be Bacchus. So to me, this is a perfect representation. Even Eros here, I don't see him. See here, he looks like a warrior to me, and that is not like, okay. And see here, love, that, because that's what he's the god of. This is not this picture. This image does not call to mind to me love. And here we have Ganesh, and it's the same thing. There are stories of Ganesh can be like a warrior or warrior figure, but that is not his main thing. He is more like the Hindu representation of Thoth. In many ways, Ganesh and Thoth are very similar. They are both about enlightenment. Ganesh is the remover of obstacles. Let's see, what do they have as his word? And it has obstacles there, yes. Ganesh is the remover of obstacles. And I believe in the Hindu faith, they would pray to Ganesh before any other deity. And by that I mean not that they just pray to Ganesh and they'll forget about other deities, but first they would do homage to Ganesh, and then they would pay homage to other deities. But don't quote me on that. That's just something I read. I'm not 100% sure because I don't practice Hindi faith, so I can't speak too knowledgeably about that. But, so yeah, so some of these cards just, okay, Aries. Now, yes, he's the god of war, but this is not how I would picture Aries either. You know, but even though he's in the midst of battle, and I am not familiar with this deity at all, but I would say, and his word is fair, if that's the case, then that's a great picture to represent that, because I think that picture strikes fair. This is another one that I'm not familiar with, so I really can't speak on. But yeah, I don't know. I just think some of the images are a little too fierce, you know. This next deck is like the sister deck to the previous deck. This is the Goddesses and Sirens. And again, there's the guidebook. And here's the back of the deck. And these two are goddesses and other women from different mythologies around the world, different pantheons around the world. So Hathor, I'm going to say for Hathor, I'm not really seeing her as this either. Hathor, there is some that believe Hathor is like another, for lack of a better word, I'm going to say like another incarnation of Isis, or even maybe more of a motherly aspect of Isis, even though Isis is the eternal mother. But I see Hathor as being a softer looking goddess. So this, you know, while I like the artwork of these decks, that's why I got them. But for some, that's not necessarily how I picture it. I could even probably picture Hecate like this, even though I'm not very informed on that particular goddess. But from what I know, or maybe even one of her aspects, because she is also sometimes seen as a triple goddess, I kind of could see that fierceness in her. Now here is Helen of Troy. And I don't know where this Helen came from, but this is not the Helen from the Iliad, I can tell you that. This is a warrior. Really? You got a lot to say, baby. What's a smile? I do like how the card looks, but Helen of Troy, I do not see her. I don't see her in that, how this card is depicting her at all. I have not worked with this deck, so I can't even tell you what the book, how the book explains them. Hera, again, Hera, she can be very fierce, especially dealing with Zeus's many paramours, his many lovers. She can be fierce in that aspect, but Hera is also, well, I don't know. I'm just not picturing Hera like that. Isis, while this image is not what I would initially associate with Isis, I would say as a protectress, yeah, this would be a pretty good image as a protectress, especially pertaining to children. She's very protective of children, and obviously she's very protective of her son Horus. So maybe I can my mind can work with that, and in that aspect anyway. So now I'm not familiar with all of these gods and goddesses and was it sirens? These goddesses and women, but now here, like Lakshmi. Here, she looks almost very sensual. I'm going to assume the god with her is Vishnu. Vishnu is her mate, consort. Vishnu is her consort. And Vishnu and Lakshmi are basically like an eternal couple, where Vishnu, anytime Vishnu incarnates into whatever incarnation he comes in, Lakshmi incarnates with him into her like counterpart incarnation. By that I mean like here she would be Lakshmi if he's in the form of Vishnu, but when he takes his form as Krishna, she would incarnate as Radha. So I'm just going to skip through some. So I don't think it's necessary for me to point out for every card that I think, every card that I think it doesn't mesh with. Oh, yeah, forgot. It gives you a bonus card from the Gods and Titans. So, yeah, I was like, what? I know I didn't mix up my decks. Andromache, yeah, I could see it like this. Andromache is an Amazon warrior. I can't remember if she's an Amazon princess or not, or leader. But she's an Amazon warrior, so yes, very fierce. Freya, I can see like that as well. Yeah, see, I do like this picture of Bast, but I don't know if I picture her like that. And this is another one. Athena, I would not picture like this either. So, while she is a warrior goddess, most definitely, she is a warrior goddess. She even, she carries a shield and everything. But she's also the goddess of wisdom. And I like to think that that fighting aspect of hers is tempered with wisdom. So, but basically, moving on to my I didn't mean to criticize the deck. I do like the artwork. And like I said, I haven't read the books to see what the thought behind, doing the cards this way were. So that really was just my interpretation of how the pictures look and what those figures represent to me, and how I just don't connect with those representations of them in the cards. But I do like the artwork, which is why I got the decks. Not every deck I buy, whether it be Oracle deck or Tarot, are to work with. I just buy because I really like the artwork, like the Anne Stokes Tarot deck. I didn't buy that with the intention of working with it. I bought it because I love the artwork. I love Anne Stokes' artwork. And the same with these two decks. I had liked the artwork. Now, some I do buy because I like the artwork and would love to work with them, but these were not, you know, that wasn't the case with these two decks. So I'm not disappointed. I'm just, you know, and who knows, maybe I will give it a try and see if I can work with it. And if I do, I'll be sure to let you know what I think. So that's basically it. So thanks for watching, and blessed be.